All right, we're here doing another podcast. So, in case you don't know who I am, my name is Harry Fücks, German name. I do comedy in Switzerland. I am clearly an old white man. You know, the hair is lost. And as any old white man, I need to do a podcast to feel good about myself. Let me just turn up the volume here so I can hear it properly. All right, so I don't know why I'm really doing this. I just want to use this as a place to explore crazy ideas, do some stuff that maybe eventually will turn into comedy that I do on stage. I've been doing comedy about 5 years now. Annoying people in Switzerland with messed up jokes. And, you know, this is an interesting question, actually. Like, if I want fame and glory, should I be saying words like fuck? I like to say fuck a lot. You know, I feel like fuck. There's nothing like it, you know, it expresses my internal state, especially right now. It's 26th of December. And I have been feeling like shit for the last few days. I got rid of my kids. I got these two kids. They're 20 and 18 now. So they're grown up. I sent them away to family in Germany. And then I could just like chill out. And I had this beautiful, I had 6 days, no one. Do you know how, like at this point in my life, how amazing it is to not have anyone in the place you live? You know, like I got this flat in Zurich, and just being alone is like, like it's my dream. Like if I'm, you know, there used to be this game. Well, it's still around. They've made more versions of it. Alone in the Dark. And that expression, like the title of that game is like some Lovecraft horror game. But that game, the title just expresses what I dream of the most is just being alone, and probably in the dark, because, you know, if I'm alone, then I start to do bullshit. I stay up till late at night and don't get, I don't know, just destroy my whole routine so that I am alone in the dark. No, it's like, because, you know, the older one of my kids, 20. That's 20 years that I've had where I haven't had a real break, where I was just alone. And, you know, it's one of those things about getting older, because I'm 50, is like when you're young, you're kind of maybe terrified of being alone. Like, I'm going to be alone, lonely for the rest of my life. No one's going to love me. I'll never. But at this point, like for me, being alone, I know how to be alone. I know how to keep myself amused. I know how to self-care. A bit of self-care is important. But I'm never alone. And it drives me freaking nuts. It's like, because there's just something about, you know, when you're not alone, it's like you've always got, yeah, you just you get tuned into other people's bullshit. It's like some drama my kids have got, or, you know, you get in you're less self-aware when you're with other people. So when you're alone and miserable, that's where you find out who you really are. And yeah, I think more people should be alone and miserable and own that shit. Don't be like, oh my God, mental health. Anyway, you can see where I'm going. Like, I used to do this podcast with a couple of other guys called the XYZ podcast. And, you know, and if you ever listen to that, you know what a grumpy old dude I am with these old school ideas that are no longer appropriate. Like making fun of people with mental health. And I don't make fun of people. Like, there are people that have serious mental health issues, but I think I've heard young people, like when I say young people, like people between like 20 and 25 have now reached a point where everyone's starting to realize people that go, oh, my mental health is usually a bit of a sign of like, you need to deal with some shit. You can't claim mental health on everything. But anyway, that's a topic I get into another time. We don't need to start by, you know, the one person who might ever watch this hating me from the beginning. But yeah, what am I going to do with this podcast? I don't actually know yet. I'm just exploring this. Like, the idea of just being sat here talking to myself is a weird thing from the start. I love the Bill Burr podcast, of course. Bill Burr, you know, and I think Bill Burr has developed a lot of his comedy ideas through doing his podcast, because he's just sort of riffing with stuff, like exploring an idea and then boiling it down to later into jokes and stuff that he can do on stage. And, I mean, of course, as I'm this, like, I look like Bill Burr and Louis C.K. had a love child. I've got Louis's beard and Bill Burr's head. And, my level of anger is somewhere between the two. Like, I'm not as angry as Bill Burr. I'm not as depressed as Louis. And I haven't shown my dick to anyone on an unsolicited basis. I'd just like to make that clear. Right now, though, I'm looking at this, like the lighting here is making me look better than I actually do right now, because getting this time off over Christmas, I got to be by myself, and I got flu right before. I've been just dead. I've been like sweating profusely during the night. I'm not normally a big nighttime sweater. I just sweated like crazy. And yeah, it's been, I feel like flu, like the old school, not the freaking that COVID thing, but old school flu, where is like a trial run for being old. And I'm 50, so I'm already old, but like it's like I went out for a walk like 2 or 3 days into this flu. I'm like, I gotta get some fresh air, and I could barely walk. Like, my back hurt, knees hurt, everything hurt. I feel like you got that sensitive skin where you can't even, like your skin is just hating the fact that you're wearing a t-shirt. And I was just shuffling along, and I got overtaken by this old lady, and she was stooped over with shopping bags. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is how it's going to be when you're old. And I mean, in a certain way, like I kind of look forward to that, because, when you're 21, you're like, how am I going to make an impact on the world? You're thinking big, stupid ideas about what you're going to do to fuck up the planet some more. But by the time you're 80, I figure like the only thing is like, how am I going to get to the supermarket and back without dying? That's and that, I feel like as a human being, that's a good place to be, because then you have realistic goals and expectation. If you make it home from the supermarket, with some shopping, whatever shopping you get, is you've achieved something. You've you set yourself a goal, you did it. That's like, it feels like you're doing something with your life. I was watching this guy in the local supermarket one of these days, and he's like, I don't know what he was, 75 or something, and he, of course, he insists in paying with cash, and then he gets out like a handful of coins. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, I got to wait for all this. But I mean, actually what was interesting to me was his food choices, because the older you get, the less you're able to like treat your stomach like a dustbin. It's like, if I eat a pizza, it's going to take me 2 to 3 days before I feel like I feel okay again. It's just, you got that cheese and your body's like, oh, dude, why did you just fill your... Like, cheese is extremely hard to digest. I live in Switzerland, so, people love cheese here. And, yeah, it's really... But watching this guy, he just had, like, a couple of bananas and some of those rice waffles, these, like, kind of round wafer things. And I just thought, this is a man that's managing his diet. He may not be managing his finances because he's bringing freaking coins to the supermarket, but at least he's managing his finances, and that I appreciate. But yeah, I've been sick as hell. And yeah, so I watched, I watched Louis, the whole of Louis, which my son's going to hate me for because we've been watching it together. It's actually a funny thing of like, with my kids, like back in the day, families used to sit together and watch TV together. But, we got the Netflix account and everybody's got their own preferences. And mostly mostly we don't watch stuff together. Like if someone's in the living room, they're starting to watch something. It's just like they occupy the whole room. Everyone else goes to hide in their bedroom to watch their Netflix preferences. And it's kind of messed up. And what was a funny discovery, like beginning of last year, 2023. Oh no, shit, that's still this year. We're still in 2023. So yeah, like I think it was February. I just started watching Seinfeld again. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I haven't watched this for ages. So I'm just watching it in the living room. And after a bit, my son wanders in and he's just like stood there watching it for a bit. Then he just comes and sits down. And then like 5 minutes later, my daughter shows up and she's the pickiest when it comes to, things we watch. And I don't tell my daughter that. I hope she's on this thing. Anyway, and she sits down as well. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is family TV viewing. I was shocked. We hadn't sat together to watch something like spontaneously like this for a long time. Occasionally we'll watch a movie together, but real like family. And then it became a thing through the early part of spring into summer this year. We just have like a couple of evenings a night. We just all watch Seinfeld together, just watch a couple of episodes. And it made me realize like most of this freaking stuff on Netflix now is just all this like, here's a team of superheroes that all need therapy or whatever it is. It's a mess. It's a huge mess. Actually, I was looking at one interesting thing I thought that came out at the end of this year. I'm already in 2024, I think, with my thinking. But if you look it up, there was this Netflix watch figures. So they published the spreadsheet of their viewing figures. First time they did that. They did from like beginning of 2023 to June 2023. And so I download the spreadsheet, hit sum total of the number of hours watched. And the human race watched 23 billion hours of Netflix in the first 6 months of this year. Like, and you just think like the amount of human wasted time is just unbelievable. It's like Rome wasn't built in a day because they were freaking watching Netflix. It's like, and just the numbers in there, is it like if you count that in productive work days, you say like 8-hour day, most people work like with holidays and sickness, probably 42 weeks a year. That adds up to about 56 million productive human years that got wasted, like for one person. So 56 million years of, and you got this dude who just lives forever. 56 million of his years were spent. That's longer than humans, like Homo sapiens have only existed for about 300,000 to 400,000 years on this planet. Before that, we were like Neanderthals, probably a bit like me. I got some of that Neanderthal, the Neanderthal bones up there. But yeah, I mean, it's insanity. And I mean, I put that together, like just thinking about, just for example, during COVID, one of I think the big thing that nobody really said during COVID, oh shit, now I'm getting tagged on YouTube because I mentioned COVID. But anyway, who cares? Is that most of us, we went home, if you got like a nice white collar job like me, like not a non-essential, I'm a non-essential worker basically. And we all went home and we weren't really doing anything really, let's face it. We'd attend a few Zoom meetings, but it's not like companies were super productive and big projects were happening. A little bit of this, a little bit of that was done. But I mean, basically, with everybody home, nothing stopped. Like basically what I'm saying is that we only probably need about 20% of the people in a Western country to keep the thing running. The rest of us were just doing useless shit for no reason, like making some startup for like, I don't know, how can I make like e-water, you know? And let me just drink some of this. And it's nuts. It's nuts. Like, so, you know, we've got so many human beings basically doing nothing, watching and Netflix is just the tip of the iceberg because, you know, like people watch Netflix, but they're looking at YouTube and TikTok, and porn, you know, and all of that, all those hours, no one's fucking doing anything. There's nothing getting done. Like, basically, we all went home during the lockdown, and there was food, the lights were still on, the internet still worked. Like, we're mostly useless. That's what I'm saying. And I don't know what to do with that. But looking at those Netflix numbers, the other thing is, you know, like you can see which shows people are watching. I think a number one show was this thing about some dude who's, I watched some of it. He's working for like the CIA, but he's a junior. He got kind of an intern job. But then he gets on the inside of this big conspiracy. Apparently, that was the top thing to watch. It was kind of surprising probably it's a reflection of how much people are into like deep state conspiracy theories, and I'm definitely into those. But yeah, and then you've got like shows like, I don't know, Big Bang Theory. The number of hours people put into Big Bang Theory is just, oh my God. I just need to pause there for a second and be depressed about the sheer waste of human time there. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do if we weren't watching Netflix. What are we going to do with this time? Like, we don't have any good ideas for what to do with it. Go help an old lady cross the street. Do something for someone. Maybe that would be a good thing to do with your time. Or just sit and meditate or some shit. I don't know. Work out. Do 3 push-ups. Yeah, just 3. Just do 3 push-ups. I have a back and forth with exercise. Like, you know, the shape of my body, it just fluctuates. Sometimes my gut's kind of chubby at the moment. I don't have much. It's not too much extra meat there. It's more just lack of stomach muscle. That means that when I'm on stage, my stomach's just bulging out. Because when you're on stage, you can't hold your stomach in because you're in the mode, whatever. So there's no hiding the state of your stomach. Because you can't think about holding your stomach in and performing live on stage. At least I can't. I'm not able to, because you're in. But yeah. Too many, I'm all over the place. I'm jumping around in my head. There's a weird flicker on the video. I don't know if that's going to get saved in the, who gives a shit? And yeah. But what was I even talking about? I don't know. Maybe it's time. I was thinking about a thing. I had this, while watching Louis, there's this episode where he's in the airport and this little Arab girl gets lost from her family. And I feel like I should line that up, right? And and it reminded me of something like when I think I was like 22 maybe. And I had to fly somewhere. I don't even know where I was going. And I had to stop off in Frankfurt, Maine. It's just, now Frankfurt, Maine, if you don't know it, is this giant airport. It's got, I think, 4 terminals. They're all joined and you can walk from one end all the way to the other. And I'm there. I've got a stopover probably between London and somewhere. And I got all my stuff on one of these trolleys. I got a rucksack and a bag or something. And then I go into this like bookstore. So I walked all the way through the terminals. I think I was in 4 and I had to go down. I wandered all the way down to 1. I had like a couple of hours to burn. I go into this bookstore. But while I'm in the bookstore, I'm like, I'm really nervous about the fact that my trolley's outside and, you know, someone could steal it. And so I don't spend long, and then I kind of rush out and just grab the trolley and start walking back. And I walk all the way back towards Terminal 4. Round about Terminal 3, I look down at the trolley that I'm pushing. It's not my stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I realized, like, shit, I took the wrong trolley. So my first panic, my first instinct is I just left it and went racing back to the bookstore to find mine. And I did. It was still there and nothing had gone wrong. So I was like, okay, cool. I got my bag back. And then I started walking back to Terminal 4 and I started thinking about that other trolley. And I'm just like, what am I going to do here? Should I take it back? Well, by the time I get it back, the person, and then I've got my trolley. I can't do both together. And then I thought, what about, should I tell, I don't know, like airport security or something? I don't even, or like go to an information center, explain what I did. I mean, I was like, that's sounding like a long, complicated thing. And now it's like only sort of half an hour left to my flight. And, you know, in my 22-year-old brain, I did the only thing I could do, which was nothing. I just left that trolley like 2 terminals away from where it came from. Someone came out of that bookstore and was horrified. They like, I fucked up somebody's travel there. Like in a, oh my God, can you imagine the nightmare that person went through? Whoever that person is, there's a piece of my karma that I have to pay for. Like, I'll meet this person in the afterlife who's just aimlessly looking for this trolley that I'm pushing. Yeah, I just thought about that. It was, yeah. And I felt really bad about it. But also, I just couldn't see any way out of the situation that was not going to get me in some terrible shit and to rectify, because it's like, how there wasn't even a good answer. Like, how could you have taken a trolley that wasn't yours and not actually look like it was full of bags, and it was totally unbelievable. And I was just so absent-minded, but I was kind of stressed, so I just grabbed it, and it was close to where I'd left my trolley, so I didn't double check. And it was only like 5 minutes later where I looked down and I'm like, oh, this is not my shit. Yeah, so somebody, maybe this person's dead by now, because, you know, they could have been 50 at that time. What is this? This is almost 30 years ago. Someone had a story for many years like, yeah, and I left this trolley and it just vanished. And then I had to see airport security. And like, I was like, and I factored in the thing. I'm like, by the time this person gets to the thing and then they check the security footage, I'm out of this place. Like, I'm already on my flight and I'm out of there. Like, I really analyzed all the things that I could think of. Like, you know, by that point, that movie the Bourne Conspiracy hadn't come out. But, you know, like, I knew that things were going to be watched in an airport. There's video footage everywhere. Anyway, I'm just talking shit we've reached this point of talking shit. I don't know if anyone's ever going to want to watch this stuff, or listen to it. I'm going to put it on YouTube. Oh, up here we got we got a projector. That's why we got the In Your Face comedy logo. So if you're ever it's in reverse, unfortunately. I mean, I should fix that. But yeah. Oh, wait, I could fix this live. I'll do that later. If you're ever in Zurich in Switzerland, look up In Your Face Comedy. I organize some shows here. We've got a really great local comedy scene in Switzerland. We got, I don't know, like 50 plus people regularly doing comedy in English. They kind of all kinds of nations. Some of us, I've been doing it about 5 years. Others have done it longer. We got a bunch of young blood, and we've got some great talents, and we've got a bunch of people that work hard on getting better at comedy. And we got the venues. Come check it out. What we're going to do now. Actually, it was something I was kind of thinking about doing these like content-based things. So let's start over here, because, you know, I was talking about the flu before, and this is going to be a really awkward segue. But you know, it's just like, you know, man flu. Is it a thing? Now, this thing is beautiful because it's basically they finally did some research. Like if you're a lady listening to this, and then you got your man, and he gets the flu, and then you're like, oh, dude, Jesus, stop being such. And because you ladies, you love to be like, wait, that's just ladies like to be in this kind of like, yeah, like men, they're just so weak, they can't take the pain, and that's generally true. Like we don't have to give birth and this kind of stuff, so we have it pretty easy, but. When it comes to flu, apparently, if you read up on it, testosterone actually so if it's true, you see, let me just read some of this. It goes, the bottom line, so diseases can look different in men and women. It's true of coronary, I don't know, so it may also be true of flu. So man flu. Oh, anyway, you read it yourself. Fuck it. But the point is that apparently, if you have higher testosterone levels, it actually makes your flu worse, and that actually describes the situation that I've been in. And it's actually a good thing. I think it's just, as a man, this is a way you can find out how much your partner truly loves you. Is you gotta drag out a flu. So if you got flu, like on day one, she'll be like, oh, sweet, oh, I feel really bad for you, It's like, what can I do for you? Can I make you a soup or like a lemony drink or something, whatever, And then, and that's fine. She's just like Mother Teresa. No, Mother Teresa. She's just like, I don't know, Florence Nightingale. She was the actual nurse that wasn't trafficking children. Anyway. And but then so you do this day one, she just treats you amazing. Day two comes around, you wake up, and she's kind of a frosty silence. She's like, oh, you're still ill, are you? Okay. Yeah. And then you drag it out again. Day three, you wake up, there's a knife at your throat. She's like, get up, motherfucker, it's time to do some stuff. Well, especially if you have children and you don't get 3 days off being a dad. But yeah. Anyway, so that's how you find out. It's like how much she loves you. If she still respects you after a 3-day man flu, that is a keeper. That's what I'm saying. But yeah. So what else do we want to talk about here? I don't know, what other things I've been thinking about. I was thinking about, everyone's wearing like headphones and AirPods and stuff. And there's some nice stuff from the World Economic Forum that they want to have these devices to monitor what we think. Now, scientifically, people say you can't read someone's thoughts with headphones. But the thing is when it comes to like training a neural network or something, all you need is things that are changing. So if you can detect, like between these two earphones, if you can detect what kind of level of electrical signal is happening inside the brain, and then at the same point you're tapped into someone's phone, what songs they're listening to on Spotify, whatever, and then you can correlate like maybe a mood of a song with the state of the brain. So if it's a nice calm song, you see where the calm parts of the brain are. If it's like something with got some energy, then you see different signals. It doesn't matter what the signals are as long as you can detect, which might mean that basically Apple and some of these other people are using these things to like between the two things. I mean, this has a microphone. Now, if anyone's ever watching this part of the podcast, you don't know what I'm talking about, you need some more sensitivity. Like, there's no way with some AirPods that you can measure brain signals. I'm not sure that's true. Or maybe it needs some kind of additional sensors. I should actually know something about this. I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. But in theory, like if I was an evil dictator, which I would be if given enough money. But if I was an evil dictator, the way I would track people is with something that they buy into naturally. Because, when you're out on the street, you don't want to actually interact with people. That's fucking gross. So instead, you have your headphones on, you're zoned out, you listen to something that it's like, just be relaxed, just listen to this. Don't fucking freak out on the street or, go and murder anybody. Just stay calm. Just listen to the music. You're on a busy tube or a tram or a bus. There's some dude, you've got your face in the armpit, but you listen to this beautiful sounds, your music, the things that, and so everyone's doing this now. Like if I wander around Zurich, it's like, like 1 in 2 people is staring at this, especially if you're a hot young lady, then you certainly don't want to be looking at the real world. And, and then, it's just like, it's probably like 1 in 3 are wearing headphones at all times, like some kind of Bluetooth. So you got Bluetooth capability, you got audio, you got microphone in these things. So there's quite a lot of sensors in there, and they're either side of your brain. I mean, it's kind of doable. Oh no, I have not thought this through. Okay, the battery. Okay, I've lost my logo now. Jesus Christ. It said that when the battery is low, it's just going to go into shutdown. So let's stick that thing on charge. But anyway, I mean, they're collecting all this data on us anyway. Actually, it's funny because I used to be this crazy dude back in when was this? Like, I don't know, around 2008, 2010, 2012. I would be like, dude, do you know, because I've always worked in software and I worked with the internet, and looking at log files, just simply access log files for a web server. Back in the days, you'd run a whole business on one web server and you see the logs. Just that data already tells you a ton of stuff about people. And when you start, and then, I won't go into details, but there's one place I worked, we had really interesting data on people. Not much, nothing compared to Google. I'm just like, the way I think about things is if you factor in like some variables, like you say, if we can do this, just imagine what Google is capable of doing. So with like this tiny piece of data, we're able to figure out stuff like, oh, this person who's using our app, for example, looks like they just got divorced. They've moved back with their parents. They've had to get a new job, filing for childcare for their kid. And this is stuff that we could determine from looking at some of the data we had at this company I was working at. And if you factor that into what Google's capable of doing, or Facebook or Apple or whoever, so, and I used to rant about this stuff, and people they look at me like, hey, Harry, you're just some insane conspiracy theorist. Like, leave us alone with that shit. And then out came Edward Snowden and told us it's all true. And I was like, finally. And I was like, look, Edward Snowden, like and everyone went, for about a week. And then we just went, whatever. And so, and I think in a way that's something, it's a reflection of what the fuck are we supposed to do? And it's true, what are we supposed to do? But, you can make a choice. Don't participate. But these headphones, if they start tracking brain activity, then you can attract a nominal brain activity. You could be like, wow, this dude is thinking thoughts that we need to interrogate him. Extreme interrogation measures. But anyway, yeah, that may be coming. What's that freaking, what is it? The end of Leave the World Behind. Actually, let's go look that stuff up. Okay, so I'm just Googling live on the podcast. Leave the World Behind. Let's get up on Wikipedia. All right, here we go. Yeah, now this is some hot take right here. I think it's not really a hot take, but all right. So the movie Leave the World Behind is shit. First of all, it's a shit movie. It's got old Julia Roberts. She's playing, and they're playing like stereotypical roles. So, old Julia Roberts plays as Karen, and you got various other characters in this, and then basically like there's some cyber attack. There's a few things about this movie. Like one of the things is a scene where all these Teslas start freaking out and they just self-drive and block up a road by all crashing. Now, just look at this for a second. Okay, so it's a shitty movie, who cares? But in the production companies, there's this movie called Higher Ground Productions. Let's have a little look at these guys. Now, first of all, what the fuck is this logo? That is clearly some weird Illuminati shit happening there. But if you read carefully, Higher Ground Productions, also known simply as Higher Ground, is an American production company founded in 2018 by former U.S. State President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. So they made this freaking movie, or they had it made. They put the money up. What other things have they done? Actually, I should have a look at that. They've also did Fatherhood. I don't know what the hell it is. What Fatherhood is Chris Rock. No, not Chris Rock. Fuck, I always forget his name. On a toilet. And then you've got Worth. I have to go watch these other movies, find out what other shit they're pushing. Leave the World Behind is this thing got put out on Netflix. And it's basically saying that there's this giant coordinated cyber attack, like power stations are blowing up, like there's this weird noise and of course it's all of America's enemies combined, like the Iranians that have like almost no money for it, and who else, just freaking everyone. And it's retarded, but it's funded by Barack Obama. And if the world goes to shit in 2024 because of a giant cyber attack, maybe this movie laid out like the blueprint, because next year is going to be freaking strange, because we got a US election and there's going to be some crazy shit happening. It just always does. Anyway, that was in my not hot take. What I'm discovering from doing this is that I need to be a bit more coherent in the things I'm saying. I'm just jumping around all over the place. I don't know if any of the things I'm saying are actually listenable, or maybe I should practice my calm down voice. Let's have a moment of calm on this podcast. Everybody needs content all the time, not taking a break, not giving, because your attention is like a goldfish. But let's just breathe for a second. Just look out the window. It's a nice blue sky today. I'm sat indoors, not doing anything. I need to burp right now. Yeah. And that, that's it, basically. I think I'm going to stop here because I haven't looked at that blue sky and I want to continue now living my life. There were other things I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to today. I'm just going to talk in a calm, mellow, relaxing voice, and then stop the recording and see if I ever do this again. Possibly.